I guess just talk about what it was good to see Sammy make a couple of plays for you last weekend.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and really more so for he and Kyle, just confidence-wise. You know, to see the kid make a play, make a couple plays, and even the blocks that he did in the game, he did a really good job doing that. So, you know, he's just got to build on it. But it definitely gives you more confidence to put the kid out there because now he believes. You know, we've been trying to get him to believe, but there's no substitute for experience. And there's a lot of kids that are, you know, growing up in that same way. Well, that was easy.
when you look at a game like that for a guy like him, does that help, you know, even Scott to see him make plays so he can call his number a little bit more in the passing game?
You know, you hope so. Again, it still comes up to matchups. You know, when you get an opportunity and, you know, don't have a safety over the top or get the one-on-one matchup and he gets an opportunity to make plays, and he does, you know, that reassures him. But a lot of our confidence as coaches come from what they do in practice. You know, when they do it right in practice and, you know, they're lining up in the correct spot and they're making the plays, that gives you confidence. Even the test the night before. You know, if a kid fills out his test on the way down on the bus and then I get it back and I grade it that night and he's got a bunch of errors on it, he probably won't see the field, even though he might have had a great week of practice, because if you can't draw it on paper and you got 2 hours to do it, it's probably going to be pretty hard with 30 seconds, you know. So a lot of accountability on this football team, a standard that, you know, Coach Chiz is making us hold them to. And those kids, they're buying it, they're getting there. You know, obviously, we're nowhere close to where we want to be right now, but it's a work in process, and the guys are working at doing that. So, I'm really excited about, you know, the opportunity that we're about to have, because we're going to see some really good defensive backs and players across the board, and, you know, and let them measure up and see where we are.
Going against a defense like LSU is going to be tough for any quarterback, let alone a young quarterback. Mm-hmm. As receivers, I mean, your group really understand going into a game like this, an opponent like this, you've really got to make plays for your guy.
Got to, no question. You know, guys around each other have to make plays. You can't say, let's just get a Timber Blake, or let's just, trust me, I know Coach Chave as well. You know, obviously being together at Tennessee, you know, he's going to make sure that he's got his guys ready to play, and it'll be physical. Everything about him is a physical mentality and aggressive. You know, he's not sitting back. He's going to make your guys play and make plays and compete on every snap. And, you know, and that's what I've been talking to my guys about, just that same mentality. It don't take long just when you're in Coach Chavis' presence to figure out that he's a real intense guy, and his defense reflects it. And it'll be a big challenge for me and my guys. And again, it'll be a measuring stick. And I'm definitely excited about the opportunity and looking forward to, you know, just seeing where we are. You know, it's the SEC. You don't get it every week. You know, doesn't matter. And these guys understand that. And if nothing else, like I said, they'll get the scars and the battle test that they need, and hopefully continue to improve.
How do you think Emory is handling his what has been a more limited role here, especially this past week, a very limited role, which I know is part of double teams and things, but
absolutely. He's a team guy. He's going to compete. When he gets an opportunity to make a play, he will. And that's the thing about him, man. If we ask him to block 50 times or run a 5-yard route or, you know, 50-yard route, he's all in. That kid is 100% team guy. He doesn't get caught up in all that, you know, things that are being said and what's going on. You know, it's the senior year and the blah, blah. He just goes and plays. And he does whatever you ask him to do, whenever you ask him to do it. And I'll tell you what else he does a great job of that probably doesn't get noticed very much is talking to Kyle and talking to the younger players and coaching them up from his experience. And he does a phenomenal job in my room at being a leader. And not just with, you know, when things are good, but when things are bad. You know, you always got to have those guys that are like the glue. And he's definitely one of those guys that, you know, keeps things together and talks to the guys, you know, get a good feel for the temperament of the room. He's a guy I can go to, and he can tell me how the rest of them are feeling as well. But he's definitely a competitor. Does he want the ball? Yeah, he'd like to have it every play. If you asked him, he'd say, yeah, I'd touch it every time. But at the same time, he's also a team player.
It's kind of far-fetched here, but Elvin Reyes, the way he's been playing on special teams, he's been pretty rough out there in a good way.
Absolutely. He and Ricardo both. And, Ricardo making both of those tackles on the kickoff team, and Melvin doing a great job with his blocking. And again, it does give you confidence when you see him do it in a game. For those guys, those special teams can boost what they do on offense. And it's you talk to Coach Bowie when we first got here, he picked out some guys when we were just evaluating them off tape from the years that they played before we got here. He went straight to special teams, and he was pretty accurate by the guys that he said would be ball players based off what he saw on special teams. And it's just been funny how that has panned out. Kids that have done a great job. You can remember when, Demetrius McNeil was covering kicks. The crowd couldn't wait to see him because he and Craig were going to make those plays, and now he's got that role on defense. So it all correlates together. It's something that we harp on all the time, offense, defense, and then we fence. But the one thing that you see the confidence in those kids, in their body language, and their temperament, and the way they go about their business when they do make plays in a game, and reassures them. I think you guys heard Sammy say that it reassured him that he could play at this level. Obviously we wouldn't have recruited him if we didn't think that he could, but for him, for his light to go off and for his confidence, every kid is different, and that there is no substitute for that type of experience. Just putting them out there and having them get it done. Everybody good? Guys, thank y'all so much, fellas. I'm sorry it took so long. He got long-winded on me. So, appreciate it.